From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 8th, 2022. We open with the news of a third fatality from last night's terror attack in Tel Aviv that wounded 12 others. 35-year-old Barak Lufan from Givat Shmuel died this afternoon from wounds he sustained in the shooting spree last night. He was a coach on Israel's Paralympic team and head coach of the Israeli national kayak team. He leaves behind a wife and 3 children. The 2 other victims were named today as 27-year-old Tomer Morad and 27-year-old Eitam Magini, childhood friends, originally from Kfar Saba. Both were students at Tel Aviv University, Tomer having recently graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering, and Eitam was studying for a bachelor's in neuroscience, psychology, and computer science. He got engaged to his girlfriend last month, and they had started to plan for their wedding. Tomer and Eitam were laid to rest next to each other today in the Pardes Chaim cemetery in their hometown. Israeli forces, meanwhile, searched for the terrorist for almost 9 hours last night until he was found early this morning at a closed mosque in nearby Jaffa. He was ordered to freeze, but he opened fire on Israeli security forces who returned fire, killing the terrorist. He was 28 years old from the West Bank city of Jenin in Israel illegally. His father, who was a security prisoner of Israel and then served as an officer in the Palestinian Authority's security services in Jenin, praised his son's deadly actions, as did terror groups Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and Hezbollah. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett addressed the Israeli public today, sending deepest condolences to the families and calling it a difficult day. Bennett vowed, "Let every murderer know that we will find him." U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrote last night, "We strongly condemn the terrorist attack that occurred in Israel today. We are thinking of the victims of today's attack and the families of those killed. May the memories of those who passed be a blessing." And a rare condemnation from Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, who said the killing of Palestinian and Israeli civilians only leads to a further deterioration of the situation, as we are all striving for stability, especially during the holy month of Ramadan and the upcoming Christian and Jewish holidays, referring there to Easter and Passover. Abbas made a similar statement last month after a terror attack in Bnei Brak that killed 5 Israelis. And while tensions are high and security is beefed up significantly in the West Bank and in Jerusalem, Ramadan prayers at the Al-Aqsa Mosque at the Temple Mount for Ramadan in the capital's old city passed peacefully today. An estimated 80,000 Palestinians came to worship, many crossing into Israel from the West Bank as restrictions are eased for the Holy Muslim month. Turning now to some other news, the second ever Israeli astronaut blasted off into space today. Eitan Stibe is part of the Axiom crew, the first all-private astronaut mission to the International Space Station, which lifted off successfully this morning from Cape Canaveral. Stibe is a former fighter pilot in the IDF and a colleague of the first Israeli astronaut, Ilan Ramon, who was killed with the crew of the Space Shuttle Columbia in 2003. The Ramon family was said to have been at the launch today. Stiba will be conducting dozens of experiments and research aboard the ISS on behalf of the Rakia mission, led by the Ilan Ramon Foundation, together with the government of Israel, aiming to make significant contributions to science and medicine. He has with him a number of personal items, including a glass cube inscribed with a prayer for the welfare of the State of Israel, given to him this past December by Israel's President Isaac Herzog, and the Allgemeiner reports page fragments from Ilan Ramon's diary from the Columbia mission, which Stiebe called exceptionally special. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, April the 8th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, a concert with Nefesh Mountain and 613. At 9, the film Starting Over Again, first-hand accounts of Jews leaving Egypt from the time Israel became a state. At 10, director Morris Ben-Mayor talks about his new film Queen Shoshana, about Israeli singer Shoshana Damari. And at 10:30, a replay of the Hampton Synagogue Services, followed by a replay from Central Synagogue. And coming up next, a look at this week's Torah Portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 8th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well, and Shabbat Shalom.